Lux. She's the hot dish. Host of the Michelle Tafoya podcast, Michelle Tafoya. He makes funnier noises than Joe Biden's butt. Comedian and host of the Jim Breuer Live on YouTube, Jim Breuer. She set a personal record at the gym for most texts. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Cat Jim. And no one's ever offered him the top bunk. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, former NWA World Champion, Tyrus. You know, Michelle, I'm not crazy about the optics in this thing to see, you know, a guy from the FCC saying this stuff. But I also really do believe in the concept of mutually assured destruction. All those people complaining tried to destroy my career, as well as others. I'm not anybody special. They went after everybody at Fox. They went after Trump. They tried to shut down this network. The only way they're going to stop that is if they know it can happen to them. But is that actually fair thinking? I don't know.
I don't know. Look, all of this screaming about the First Amendment and free speech is driving me crazy. People seem to think that the First Amendment allows every individual to say whatever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want. That's not what the First Amendment does. What the First Amendment does is provides that Congress can make no law to prohibit you from speaking. Mm-hmm. It does not say that you can't get fired for saying some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It does not say that. And so Jimmy Kimmel, as you've said, has not been silenced. This is not chilling, although it's really cold in this studio.
Yes.
But this is not chilling. Jimmy Kimmel can go on live tours like you all do. He can go on Substack. He can go on TikTok, anywhere he wants, and spew whatever the hell he wants. But as you pointed out, the stations and radio, they are on a limited bandwidth, and therefore they have to have a license. Fox doesn't have to have a license.
Yeah.
TikTok, you don't need a license. You don't need a license to go on satellite radio or satellite TV. So, Jimmy, move on and do that. And one other thing about this insanity in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder. All of these people that feel so emboldened to call him a racist, a bigot, a xenophobe, a homophobe, a misogynist, would they have ever said that to his face? Suddenly it seems like in the wake of his death, now they have the guts to come forward and call him all these names. Would they have ever gone to one of his prove me wrong things and said it to his face? So I want to applaud every person that ever disagreed with Charlie Kirk and actually had the guts to go tell him to his face.
Yeah. You know, this whole topic forced me to have to read up on like all the differences between cable and network. I never wanted to know that stuff. This is the problem with Trump. It's like you learn something new every month. Now, like Kimmel, you're a comedian, except you're funny. Is this a chilling effect to you? Or do you feel like people come up to me and go like, if you're a comedian or you're on TV, you should be upset by this. I'm not really.
No, not at all. Only because, listen, he works for a major network, ABC, it's Disney.
Yeah.
You do have standards. Disney's supposed to be family. Yeah. He came out right out of the gate. He preached hate. Now, even the joke he put out with Trump, if you just left it as, I don't think Trump is so sad, and then it cut to him for a second, when he went, if you look at the beautiful place we're building, I get the joke. Yeah. But the blame, and you know when I lost him? During COVID. Mm-hmm. He's a divider. He's paid to divide. He's not paid to be funny. And in the great words during COVID of Mr. Jimmy Kimmel, to you I say, maybe why don't you go try some horse goo, Wheezy? They don't remember that. I do.
Yes, it's a classic callback.
Yes.
Kat, can I run an analogy by you from Walter Kern?
Sure, I love Walter Kern.
We all love Walter Kern.
I like him.
Yeah. So he defends this decision, and he says, let's say a government grants a license to a company that gives tours of a national park that belongs to all of us, on the condition that the company doesn't abuse tourists and wildlife. But then one of the guides does, and he does so consistently. That's his analogy to the broadcast frequencies. They are public property, and the privilege of leasing them comes with responsibilities. They aren't private wires like what we do. Is that a fair analogy?
Well, I think the difference is we're not talking about parks. We're talking about speech.
That's why it's an analogy.
And, well, I understand what an analogy is, but it does make...
They're never perfect. Analogies are never perfect.
But it does make it... I was going to talk for longer than that to explain.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So the FCC is actually not supposed to be engaging in the nuances of content moderation. Its scope is supposed to be very narrow. I'm not sure that the public interest statute has ever been interpreted this way. And I also think the statute in itself is too broad. As narrow as it is, I think it'd be better if it was even narrower. And look, I'm not a Democrat. I'm certainly no fan of Kimmel.
Yeah.
I hated his comments yesterday. I thought that his comments that we talked about yesterday, as I said, I thought that they represented just a stunning lack of touch with reality. And also, on a personal note, his sister once told me to, and I quote, off and die.
Yes.
So I do have a lot of personal reasons why maybe you would think I would be cheering this, but I'm not. I mean, I've long said I think the FCC has an undue influence on speech, and having the head of the FCC say on a podcast that this should be shut down, that's an arm of the federal government saying we can do this the easy way or the hard way, bothers me. And that's especially true because of Nexstar, the owner of the local TV stations. They were and are looking for a merger that the FCC would have to approve. So the head of the FCC going on a podcast saying this, and then hours later it happens, and then hours later ABC does the same thing. I get the fear of live events. I do live events.
Yeah.
I also understand the frustration with the hypocrisy. A lot of people who are saying, this is, free speech, how dare you, they had no problem with the Biden administration's attempts to quell free speech, whether that's the Disinformation Governance Board or the things they were doing with private social media companies. That's not me. I had problems with those things, too. I also don't really have to wonder if Kimmel would have the same take on my own cancellation.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he would not. I feel confident in saying that he would not. But again, the bottom line for me is you shouldn't want the government to have this kind of power over speech, even if it's speech you absolutely hate, because it could then use that power against you.
All right. What about you, Tyrus? Where do you land on this thorny issue?
Like most times I land on thorns, they get smashed. I don't care because I don't think it has anything to do with free speech. You have a job, just like I have a job. And if I go too far at work, I get fired. And it doesn't have to necessarily be on TV.
Yeah.
If I'm stacking cans at Walmart and I decide that I want to tell everyone who comes down they need to be conservative or they can't have one of my cans, you know what I'm saying? And after a while, they're like, hey, well, he's just being silly. That's okay, but he stacks cans great. And then after a couple months, no one's buying any more green bean cans because Tyrus is stacking cans and saying sideways. The manager's going to say, hey, we love your can stacking, but you got to go because you won't stop saying bad things about people. So this has nothing to do with free speech. You have a job. It's happened here. A stand-up comedian does a joke that's too raunchy, and they're like, whoa, you're done. Or goes too far on a TV. He went too far, and it's not like they haven't been giving them hints. They told The View, hey, maybe chill out. They told all these networks, hey, enough, maybe chill out. And they have had their way. And they had the government and the mainstream media backing them. Every time they said something, they were a martyr. And there was no consequences. Now we're seeing the adults back in the room at network television and everything else. Just like, again, Washington Post wearing an angry black woman talking about white people. Never would have happened. They wouldn't even dared it. And they were like, nope, you're out. Because we're getting back to a mutual respect. Being on TV is a gift. This isn't a job you have to have. This is a job you get to have. And if you are not in line with the people who make the decisions, ABC probably is about to lose, $6 million in a week over advertising and everything else. They made a choice going, this is not sustainable. This is not good. So he has all the free speech. Get a podcast like everybody else.
Yeah.
Stand outside of your house and preach your stuff. Do your stand-up. See if anyone in the neighborhood stops by.
All right. We covered it. I think we covered it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.